Go ahead.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sus Faction.
Today is a Halloween-centric episode, and I'm your host, Kyle.
And I'm Isela.
And
we're your hosts. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some Halloween lore. We've got some history for you. We've got some folk tales, ancient history, all sorts of things all over the map as far as Halloween goes. Just things you may not have known. I'm going to start with a story about Stingy Jack and the origins of the jack-o'-lantern. Stingy Jack is a character from Irish folklore who tricked the devil multiple times but was ultimately denied entry into both heaven and hell due to his wicked ways. After his death, the devil gave him a burning ember to light his path in the darkness, which Jack placed in a hollowed-out turnip to create a lantern. This became the original jack-o'-lantern. And the legend explains the origin of the Halloween tradition of carving lanterns to ward off evil spirits. Stingy Jack was a cruel, selfish, and deceitful man who enjoyed playing tricks on others. It was said that he was more evil than the devil himself. The devil, intrigued by Jack's reputation, came to claim his soul. Jack invited the devil for a drink, but, true to his miserly nature, didn't want to pay. He convinced the devil to turn into a coin to pay the bill. Jack then put the coin in his pocket, where he kept a silver cross, trapping the devil. He only released him after the devil promised not to claim his soul for 10 years. Then the devil returned 10 years later. Jack tricked him into climbing an apple tree, placing crucifixes on the ground to trap him again. In exchange for his freedom, the devil promised never to claim Jack's soul. After Jack died, heaven refused him for his sinful life, and the devil, bound by his word, would not take him to hell. The devil gave Jack a burning ember to light his way in the eternal darkness. Jack placed the ember in a hollowed-out turnip, creating a lantern. Jack's ghost, known as Jack of the Lantern, has been doomed to wander the earth with his lantern ever since. So, the legend of Stingy Jack explains the origin of the jack-o'-lantern. In Ireland, people carved menacing faces into turnips and rutabagas, with candles inside to ward off Stingy Jack's spirit and other evil spirits on Halloween. Over time, these were replaced by pumpkins in the New World, which were readily available and easier to carve. These became known as jack-o'-lanterns in recognition of the original Jack of the Lantern.
That's cool.
I'd never heard that before until I started researching this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I knew that story. I just didn't know, like I knew that it went from turnips to like gourds and pumpkins, but I like the part of the like tricking the devil and stuff because I don't think I'd heard that before.
Yeah. So it looks like, I guess he was clever. He knew, I guess enough Catholicism and all of that with the crucifixes to trap the devil.
Yeah.
One version of the story was that he had a silver crucifix in his pocket. The other was a silver cross. So I went with silver cross for that, and then the crucifixes for the tree because it said two different things both places that I'd read the story.
Well, one of them has to be true, or one of them has to be right in the folklore.
Right. Yep.
But, all right. Do you want to tell the next?
Yep. Staying on, with the Irish, I guess, we'll go ahead and go into some Druid celebration. So pre-Christian Druid celebrations of Samhain, actually spelled Samhain.
It's not Samhain.
It's Samhain. Kyle taught me that. Pre-Christian Druid celebrations of Samhain were centered around bonfires, divination. I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
It's hard to explain.
Okay. And communion with the spirit world, which they believed grew closer to the physical world during this time. Many modern Druid traditions continue to honor these ancient practices, while specific details of historical Druid rituals are scarce. Irish texts and modern practices offer insights into how they may have celebrated. The relighting of the hearths was a tradition that was done every year. It says the fires in family homes were put out at the start of the festival, and after the communal bonfire, people would take a flame back to their homes to relight their hearths, symbolizing the community's connection and renewal. Costumes and disguises are also a Druid tradition. People wore costumes made from animal hides to disguise themselves from mischievous or harmful spirits that might cross into the mortal world. Feasting and celebration. Samhain was a mandatory festival that could last for several days, involving community gatherings with feasting and drinking. The festival marked the end of the agricultural year and the beginning of the Celtic New Year, honoring the dead and prophecy. Celts. Celts believed that at Samhain, the barrier between the living and the spirit worlds was at its thinnest. Druids would perform divination, again, I'm not sure what that means, to offer prophecies for the coming year, and offerings of food and drink were left for spirits or ancestors.
Divination, in short, is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means.
Okay.
That can be a multitude of different things. That's why it's hard to explain, because it can be seeking, like by reading tea leaves,
Okay.
or divining. Like if you've ever watched the show American Horror Story, they use divination as like finding artifacts hidden in the house by using pebbles. Like it's just it's varied and complicated. In my eyes, I think it's a little complicated, but that's it. It's just the seeking the future or the unknown through supernatural means.
I'd be afraid to know the future, because then I think like I'd either try, it would affect how I live my life. I would either try to not make something happen that I didn't want to happen, or like try and make decisions that would help me lead to the other thing that is supposed to happen that I want to happen faster. Right. Like I wouldn't be able to live my life naturally if I knew the future.
Right. Or like you wouldn't be able to live your life. You'd be just existing in a cloud of decision making.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I don't think I would like that at all.
Right. No, I don't think so either.
Okay, so when I was researching all of this, it reminded me. So I am of Mexican and Puerto Rican ancestry, I guess, is the right word. So it made me think of the Dia de los Muertos celebrations that we do. We do a very small portion of it because my children are only half, and then the other half is actually Irish, German, and all sorts of other things as well. So we celebrate a very small piece of Dia de los Muertos at my house, but to tie it together with what the Celts did there, honoring the dead, is very similar. So long before Spanish colonization, indigenous peoples in what is now Mexico and Central America held complex and celebratory rituals to honor their ancestors and the cycle of life and death. The modern Dia de los Muertos is a syncretic blend of these ancient traditions with Catholic observances, like All Saints and All Souls Day. But its pre Catholic roots were vibrant and deeply embedded in a different worldview. Indigenous civilizations like the Aztecs, Toltecs, Maya, and Zapotecs did not perceive death as the end of existence. Instead, they held a cyclical view of life and death, believing that a person's soul continued to exist and could return to visit the living. For the Aztecs, skulls were powerful symbols. They were often displayed on temple skull racks and represented death, sacrifice, and rebirth. This imagery was later satirized by Mexican artists and evolved into the festive sugar skulls we know today. And that's one of the things that we do. We make, I've done it so many different ways as the kids have grown, but the first time we ever did it, we cut paper plates into skulls and painted them.
Oh yeah.
Then another year we bought pre-made ceramic skulls and painted them. Then another year we actually made our own skulls out of clay. I have a teeny tiny keychain sized one that I made. But every year we do something with skulls, and I've also drawn a sugar skull for each of our family members that has passed, a specific one that reminds me of them. So it's got their favorite color or their favorite flower or something on it that reminds us of them.
Right.
So like the modern ofrendas, ancient rituals involved placing food, water, and tools to help the deceased on their journey to the afterlife. Copal incense was also burned as an offering to the gods. Marigolds, or cempasúchil, these bright orange flowers were used by the Aztecs to decorate temples during ceremonies for the dead. The flowers' pungent scent and vibrant color were believed to guide the spirits back to the world of the living. Graveside vigils were also held. Since people were often buried near their homes, vigils took place at these burial sites, a practice that continues today at cemeteries. With the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century, colonizers, yeah, that sounds weird to me, imposed Catholicism and attempted to eradicate indigenous beliefs. However, native rituals proved resilient. To encourage conversion, the Spanish moved the native festivals to coincide with the Catholic dates for All Saints' Day, November 1st, and All Souls' Day, November 2nd. This allowed indigenous peoples to continue their traditions, but under a veneer of Catholicism. This syncretism resulted in the multi-day celebration of Dia de los Muertos that exists today. And just to tie that back into the Celts, Samhain transformed into Halloween through a centuries-long process of cultural assimilation and Christian influence. The ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, was associated with spirits and the dead. When the Catholic Church established All Saints' Day on November 1st, they moved the holiday's observance to coincide with the Samhain-related dates, and the night before became known as All Hallows' Eve, or Halloween. Over time, the traditions of both holidays merged, creating the modern celebration of Halloween.
Nice.
Yeah. So it looks like the Druids had the biggest hand in getting that date close to November 1st, and then they already had the date, and they noticed the indigenous peoples in Central America had similar belief systems that they also didn't want to keep around, so they just said, hey, celebrate on November 1st like the rest of us.
Right.
So
all right, my story, it actually I reference an episode of Drunk History because that's where I first heard the story. But let's see, 1912, November 1st, 1912, Hiawatha, Kansas, a woman named Elizabeth Krebs found her garden to be completely vandalized, and like her neighbors' homes were vandalized, and outhouses were tipped over, gardens were just destroyed, and it was due to the night before, which was Halloween, no, October 31st, and it was considered Devil's Night, and where kids would just they would do pranks and just be destructive and vandalize a whole bunch of stuff. Well, Elizabeth was fed up with it, so the next year, she decided that she was going to start a kind of Halloween party for the kids, like doing costumes and candy and just kind of like a little get together for everybody to try and kind of wear them out so that way they wouldn't be so riled up and want to vandalize everything.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the next year it went well, so she thought, and everyone was totally into it. But the next morning, again, her garden was destroyed, outhouses were turned over, things were vandalized again. So she spent the whole next year, like from that October, or from that November 1st on to the next Halloween, she spent putting together like music and like having costumes, like candy, um, I'm assuming jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that, her gourds and pumpkins and stuff, like decorations and all that. She put all this time and effort into it over the course of a year and made it like a whole town party.
Okay.
So it wasn't just like a small little thing for the kids. It was kind of like everybody was involved. And when October 31st came, everybody seemed to really get into it and like just kept it going all evening and all night long. And so this woman, Elizabeth Krebs, was like, okay, I think I finally got something started here. Well, like, because everyone was traipsing around listening to music and having a good time. The kids were just completely zombified by like the candy and the music and the partying, that no vandalism happened. So that next morning when she woke up, everything was intact and everybody was in awe and like thanking her for putting this together because they were all tired of being vandalized.
Right.
Well, ever since then, like they adopted it to be an every year thing. Like they wanted to do this every year, and it changed how we celebrate Halloween all over the country and the world eventually. So like now, instead of Devil's Night, we have Halloween as it is now, where kids go around in costumes and beg for candy,
Yeah.
threaten people with tricks,
Yes.
or get treats. And I think I thought that was a really cool story, even though it's like a short story. I thought it was really cool that one woman in Kansas decided, okay, I'm going to do something about all this vandalism and make it a night that kids can have fun and do their crazy shenanigans without it being detrimental to the community.
Okay. Oh, that sounds, I mean, it almost sounds like I want to look up when Mischief Night started, because it seems like Mischief Night and Devil's Night, like that's something that they had dealt with for a really long time. And you said 1912, she was like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
I gotta fix it. So I wonder how, when that started.
Right, we'll have to look that up.
I could look it up. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, Mischief Night. October 30th in some areas of the US. Now it's October 30th. The night before Halloween. They even call it the night before bonfire night, and the bonfire was the Druid tradition.
Yeah.
So,
the bonfires of protection.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. 1790.
Goodness. That's a while ago.
Yes. Mischief Night is documented as early as 1790 in England, referring to a night of practical jokes.
Practical jokes and vandalism.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But all right, well,
Wow.
I think that's all the story I have. Do you have any more?
It says there's other names for it. Devil's Night, Cabbage Night, Goosey Night, Mystery Night.
Goosey Night? That's interesting.
Yeah. Goosey Night. I don't know. There's so many different things though that we could talk about for Halloween. I just
Right.
thought we'd cover a few of the like more common ones. Like, I don't know. I had always heard of, most of it coming from Celtic tradition because I'm
Yeah.
sure at this point a lot of people have heard of like Samhain or Samhain is probably what they thought it was pronounced as.
Right.
But I'm sure by now people have heard that that's where it originates from. And then, being curious about Dia de los Muertos because not everyone has a Mexican friend that can share that information. But we still see it, at least in our country, we see it celebrated.
Mhm. I didn't know that Dia de los Muertos was so close to Halloween.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so my son's birthday is November 3rd. His due date was November 3rd, and I was like, oh, what if I have him early? What if I have him on Dia de los Muertos? I did not. I had him on November 3rd. But still, I was hopeful because it does signify rebirth.
Really?
And I was like, well, maybe, he'd just be like one of our ancestors just, coming back.
Right.
But
aw. I bet they love Coco.
Yes, we watched Coco. Book of Life is another good one, another good movie that talks about it. But Coco is my favorite. I even put Coco. I have a Coco book and some figurines that I put up in my classroom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
Okay.
And again, thank you for listening. Be sure to come back for another episode.
We post every week on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, trust no one, question everything.
And if you would like to reach us or send us any stories of your own that we could share on here, you can reach us at susfactionpod@outlook.com. Again, if you want to send us your stories, you can reach us at susfactionpod@outlook.com. And we also have an Instagram.
Yes, our Instagram is at susfactionpod. I post a teaser every Monday night. Last week I was late and posted it on Tuesday, but it's close enough.
All right. Thank you.